Hi, YouTube. Erica from In the Company of Cards. Next week, we should be back to the Sunday conversations, but I did want to come on and look at a couple of issues. Welcome. If you're new here, welcome back. If you're a return viewer, I so appreciate your support and would love it if you would subscribe, like, share the video. Appreciate it. So, listen. I've heard a lot of talk on the, you know, World Wide Web about what's coming up for us, certainly this week, the next couple of weeks, but most specifically tomorrow. So there's been some buzz about whether or not all of the states have turned in to the archivist their certificates of um, election. And, there's some rumor that there's 22 states that have not, and that might mean who knows what, et cetera. I'm going to look to see, I'm going to use the letter as I use Lenormand if you're new here to look at things. And I'm going to use the card, the letter, to see, whether all of these certificates are indeed with the archivist. They're meant to go from the archivist, of course, to Congress tomorrow morning for Congress to certify the election. So let's see if these are missing, if there's anything out of the ordinary that would stop tomorrow's certification. Okay. So remember, we're looking for the letter. Deep in the deck, which doesn't mean anything one way or the other, but just means I have to keep shuffling. Okay, so this stands for every state's certificate of election, which should be with the archivist, uh, should have been with the archivist as of Christmas, actually, the 25th. Um, but let's see. I'm going to pull a couple of clarifiers before I talk about what I think or what I see. Okay. So, unlike some of my colleagues in this work, um, well, we have the older woman, we have the younger woman, we have the certificates, we have the anchor, and we have the tower. So, and I did pull clarifiers on the last three of these cards. I mean, to me, people will tell me, I'm sure in my comments, no, no, this is Harris. These cards are Harris and women, and the day will be saved by states that did not turn in their certificates. That's what people will want to say. Um, I don't think that that's what this means. I think this is the states bowing to the convention, being receptive and malleable in that way, bowing to the convention of having the certificates at this point be with the archivist, all of them. Now, here are the certificates. I just pulled one clarifier, and it's the lily. Much as I might like something to happen so that the vote is not certified, you know, show must go on. And this is that card. The certificates are where they are meant to be. They are in the custody of the archivist. Tomorrow they will be sent to Congress if they've not been sent there already. Um, the anchor to me in this case means that they are safe. that the certificates are all together and safe where they're supposed to be so that things can move forward. It's the ship. Final card in our original line was the tower. This stands for government, and the clarifier was the bouquet. So the government has received the certificates. Government has done what it's supposed to do. Okay, so any port in a storm, we are grasping at any straw we can think of to keep this cup from our lips, and that's one of the straws that people have grasped. Saying some states are refusing to give their certificates to the archivist. I don't see that being an issue. The archivist will have what the archivist needs to deliver to Congress for Kamala Harris's certification of the votes. So, a couple more questions, sort of in that vein. Um, and I have a lot of respect for a lot of the people that I'm seeing say this stuff. Some of them are my personal friends, but I have to show you what I see, right? As opposed to what the common wisdom is. And the common wisdom may or may not agree with what I'm saying. But the next thing I'd like to look at, and I'm going to say once and for all, but you never know, and I may look at it again. But the next thing that I want to look at is, will there be some sort of event, we'll call it, and I'll even say cataclysmic event that will cause the postponement of the inauguration. So I think that I'll use the bouquet for the inauguration because this is someone getting awarded, rewarded with the presidency. So I'm going to see, will something happen? I have heard that rumor as well, that something will happen like around just beforehand, like the 18th or 19th, that will cause the inauguration to be postponed. So let's see if there's anything like that in my cards. So we're looking for the bouquet that will stand for the inauguration. Okay, so this stands for the inauguration. Well, I didn't expect this, and I will draw some clarifiers, but let me show you what they are. We have the mountain, we have the moon. Here's the bouquet, and that stands for the inauguration. Then we have the snake, and we have the child. So what's this about? I'm not a bandwagon jumper on her, but if I see what I see, I'm going to tell you what I see. So here, this is a card for delay. It is a card for delay. Remember, I asked if something would happen of maybe a cataclysmic nature to delay the January 20th inauguration. This card is the card for delay. And then I can mirror it with our second card. I'm sorry, with our last card in the line, and I'll draw clarifiers. This is the child. So the child is something new or something small. So maybe not cataclysmic, but something that delays the thing. Delays what? Well, delays, uh, this is a card for reputation, right? So delays the once again elevation of someone to the position that they supposedly have been elected to. Bouquets in the middle. the snake. The snake is a problem. And I can mirror the snake with the moon. So this person's reputational elevation, right, to the highest office in the land hits a snag. And again, with that first card being the mountain, listen, I won't be surprised if there's a delay. But let me look and see if I can see any more about this. So I'm going to pull clarifiers. I'll let you watch me so that you don't think I'm pulling a fast one here. Okay, so I'll pull three for each card. Remember that I always tell you that energy is mutable, which means that things can change. And I know what a kind of a sort of cop-out answer that is from someone who does this work. Like, I know I said X yesterday, but today I say Y. Well, I'm not hedging my bets. I'm saying that energy shifts and energy is mutable. And when I sat down to pull these cards, I really thought that things were going to go according to plan, and you know who would be inaugurated on the 20th. These cards are saying there may be an issue with that, a delay. So you saw the first five cards. Now I'm going to show you the clarifiers that I drew. So I drew three for each of our original five cards. This card is the card for delay. There's just no question about it. And with it starting off the line, I feel like it's spirit saying to me, girl, you know, don't put blinders on. Be open to what we're showing you. I feel like there may be a delay. Now, we have the star, the clouds, and the tree as the clarifiers. Okay, so here's our delay. The star, this feels like some kind of cyber problem because we've got clouds here. So some kind of cyber confusion um, that could last a while. All right, here we have that moon card, remember? But look at this. The clarifiers are the key, the woman, and scales. What I would like it to be, and this line can often be, I'm going to say aspirational as opposed to actual. Now, sometimes the aspirational and the actual are the same thing. Sometimes they're not, but I am going to hedge my bets here and say, let's just consider this aspirational for the moment. So this is the reputation of whoever gets elevated to this office. We have the key, the answer. Well, I mean, this is Harris. She's the younger woman, she's the older woman, she is every woman, she is divine feminine energy. That's what this card is. And here we have my scales card. And again, one of the meanings of the scale is justice. Does something happen that evens things out differently than the way they are now? Hmm? Okay, here we have the bouquet. This is the inauguration, right, which would elevate someone to the White House. But we get a message. We will be sent a message, and you can take that however you want, because I don't think we know. Fish. Remember that fish is the card for emotion. It's also the card for money. Money. So could there be something, some money, I don't know, money related message about this inauguration to the White House? Uh, hmm. It's the next line that has got me all kinds of worked up. I mean, and I'm rarely flummoxed when I not, and I'm not flummoxed now. It's not like I don't understand what the line says. It's I understand what the line says. So here we go. All right. Remember that our fourth card was the snake, and I said this was meaning that there was going to be a problem with the inauguration. The clarifiers are even more disturbing. We have the whip, we have the scythe, and we have a card for 45. You know, these two cards are together, well, I'm going to say these three cards together are really unpleasant. The snake is a problem, right? Think poison, think fangs, think boa constrictor that strangles you. Think problem. Um, this is arguments, shouting, harshness. And this scythe, I mean, scythe is a weapon. I'm just saying. Entertainment purposes only, YouTube, but um, there's a problem coming. And again, before the 20th, I asked about the 18th and 19th. That was the time frame that I wanted us to look at. I'll look at it again when we're closer to the date, but this is interesting. Now that last card in the original line of five is the child. And I said that that was something new, could be something small, like a small delay, but it's something new that's popped up. And the clarifiers are the birds, clover, and stork. So this is some new thing that pops up. Birds is buzz, talk, publicity. So there's a lot of conversation. And then these two cards are really good cards. Clover is one of the happiness cards, is what I call them. There's three of them. The bouquet is one, the lily is another. Uh, and then we have this one. And this is the card for a surprise, like Christmas. This is the card for like Christmas, Santa Claus coming, or you won the lottery, that kind of thing. Something out of the blue, unexpected. And look, the stork ends the line. Stork is the card for positive change. And I always can mirror whatever the last card is in the reading with the very first card in the original line. Well, that is this. So the delay, which could well happen, I guess I am jumping on a bandwagon. Who knew? The delay is positive. And remember, I'm the one reading these cards, so positive from my perspective. I'm not going to say more than that, except to say, some people will say, well, you've seen what other readers say, and so did that affect the cards that you ended up pulling because, subconsciously you remembered what those readers said and you like what they said, and so you made it happen that these cards came out this way. I don't think so. I think I have we all know I have opinions, right? But I do have enough objectivity when I'm pulling the cards to be able to say what I see in the cards, whether it's something I like seeing, whether it's something that I don't like seeing. For the longest time, I was seeing that things were going to be status quo. For example, I think what I just said about the certificates of election. I think that the certificates of election are where they're supposed to be and will be submitted. So I do think that. But as to whether or not there will be a delay in the inauguration due to events that could happen on the 18th and 19th, I think that's possible. And I showed you the cards. You saw me pull the cards. I do think that that's possible. Um, Let me ask one more question. Will NATO invoke Article 5? Now, NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, as you know, comprised of European and North American allies plus us. Um, and I think probably, I'm sure Australia's in there too. But at any rate, um, Article 5 says if one of us is attacked, we will take that to mean all of us have been attacked. And that means all of us will need to respond. Now, we know that there's been chatter about that, about this Article 5, um, particularly in light of what happened to the elections in Romania. And if you recall, Romania halted their process. They have two-pronged electoral system, and so they did the first prong, and clearly it had been meddled with by Russia. And they said, "Okay, you know what? We're throwing that prong out, and we're not even going to go into the second prong. We're going to start from square one and redo elections." Now, that's Romania. The US won't do that because it will make us look weak. I don't think it'll make us look weak, but I think the powers that be think it will make us look weak, meaning Biden. Um, also Biden is thinking about, he's got to be thinking about Yoon in South Korea, right? Yoon thought that something was being done. He was the president of South Korea, thought that something was being done in an inappropriate, unfair way, that there was something that was not above board. So he decided to call martial law. And we all know that what happened there, he ended up getting deposed. The South Korean police have tried to arrest him, but he has stayed holed up in the palace. So they have stood down. I don't know, maybe they're waiting for him to go out and look for cigarettes or something before they arrest him, but they've stood down. But bottom line, he ended up deposed, and now they're trying to arrest him. Well, you could argue that if Biden were to say, you know what, yeah, I don't really like the way this election was done. It wasn't fair. Votes weren't counted. Russia interfered, etc. So I'm not going anywhere. Well, I mean, what's to say he won't end up like Yoon, right? And 45 then have an inauguration that is not official, we'll say, but announce himself in charge and then go into the White House and get Biden out. I mean, stranger things have happened on the world stage. So the thinking is that one of the things that could happen is that NATO could invoke this Article 5, which means that we are at war with, I guess, Russia, along with the other NATO countries. And that means that Biden would say, well, now I'm a wartime president, so I'm not leaving. So I just want to look at NATO and whether they're going to invoke Article 5 between now and, let's say, well, we'll just say between now and the 20th. Okay. Boy, I'll tell you what, that last reading shook me. Okay, so I think I'll use the letter again, and that will stand for Article 5. Will Article 5 be invoked by NATO? For the letter. Oh, here it is. Okay, that's Article 5. Well, I'll tell you, I think there's a lot of conversation about it, a lot of arguing back and forth. Look, the key is the answer to things. Um, it could answer the problem of 45. The fact that 45 is a problem, right? If NATO were to invoke Article 5, Biden would stay in office. Now, I can mirror this first card with the last card, which is the whip. There's a lot of arguing going back and forth about this. Is this a last ditch effort to keep 45 out of the White House? Could it be? Uh, Here we have this older man card, and then we have the young woman card. So, this can be Biden, this could be 45, this could be Harris, but I'm going to draw some clarifiers. I think it's been discussed, but I'll let you watch. Okay. So the clarifiers on the key, which is, how do we solve a problem? I sound like the Sound of Music. Remember that? How do we solve a problem like Maria? How do we solve a problem like 45? Oh, we could invoke Article 5 of NATO and then Biden stays, and then we go from there. But the clarifiers are the mice, the coffin, and the scales. It looks to me as though that idea was considered, but people are too nervous about what the consequences are. And so it was shelved. The better part of valor seemed to stay hands off and to not invoke it. Um, we have this card. I'm going to say that this feels more Biden-like to me than anything. Um, And we have the clarifiers, the crossroads, the dog, but then we have the clouds. So here's Biden. Um, and the crossroads are like, is there another alternate way we can address this whole thing of 45 coming back? Uh, and his friends, Biden's friends, are the ones who are talking about this. Who are his friends? Well, our NATO allies, obviously. 45 wants to pull us out of NATO, if you recall. But they're like, no, this is about the doubts of doing this. Would this be, just sort of hurtling us towards a World War III scenario? Is there another way out from this? Okay, so here's Article 5. Yeah, it would definitely help our side out. That's true. And it would help Europe, although Europe is turning pretty right wing itself. So um, it would be a stopgap measure, sort of. But look, I don't think it's going to happen because again, this is a block. It's an impediment to invoking Article 5. I don't think that NATO will do that. Uh, we have this young woman card here, and I'm going to say that this is Harris, and we have anchor, moon, and tree, and I just feel like this is her saying, I'm good, I'm fine, I am who I am, and I'm biding my time. So don't rush on my account. Uh, and then we have the whip, and this is these arguments that have gone back and forth. Should we invoke it? Should we not invoke it, etc. And we have fish, birds, and bear. Fish is money. This is the conversations that have been had, all of the networking that's been done. And we have this bear, and sometimes the bear is my card for 45. Sometimes the bear is my card for Putin. And so this last card I can mirror with the very first card in the line. And it's the key. I mean, if NATO declares a common enemy, the common enemy is Russia. And I just feel as though NATO has said, yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're not gonna invoke Article 5. So if that was your Hail Mary pass solution to how things would pan out, I don't think that that will be it. I think it'll be something, if there is anything that stops this inauguration, it will be something that comes totally out of the blue. And I say that because of the Clover card. It'll be a surprise to everyone. Um, I have no idea what it is. I think I'm not meant to know yet. I don't think any of us are meant to know yet. But I just think, don't close your mind to the possibility that something could happen late in the process um, that would change the game. I mean, who knows? Um, I guess that'll be it for today. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to look at. Hmm. I can't think of anything. All right. Well, listen, have a great Sunday. And next week I'll be back with another Sunday conversation with one of my friends that you all can listen in on. And I'll see you obviously early in the week next week. So have a good Sunday.